Barry Bennett, Trump's senior advisor, was on Fox News just a little bit ago. He suggested the campaigns grow. They go in a different direction, especially as they enter into the general election. Should we look too much into this, or is it indicative of Donald Trump slipping in the polls?
No, he's a big person. He's a dramatic guy, and you can only imagine what happens beneath the surface of an already turbulent campaign. I think what you're seeing is a civil war, and I think Paul Manafort is Captain America, and obviously Corey Lewandowski is Iron Man. And Captain America here has prevailed. You know, Iron Man is a hothead. He's the mercurial one. And that strategy, to Corey Lewandowski's credit, worked through the primary process. That's very obvious. But it's so different. And Megan can attest, when you go into a general election and you don't have those primary victories week after week to point to, you absolutely have to make a shift. And I think on June 7th, when Donald Trump gave that speech, and it was much more measured, you saw Paul Manafort's fingerprints all over it.
Well, Megan, you can give us perspective as family's involvement in all of this, as the daughter of one of our country's biggest politicians, John McCain. Clearly, we're learning that the children were behind this move.
And listen, on my father's campaign, I made a lot of suggestions that he ended up listening to. I have no doubt Ivanka Trump and his other sons had a big hand in this. What's interesting to me, Michael Caputo, who's a big advisor to Donald Trump, tweeted, "Ding dong, the witch is dead." So to say that there's not a lot of internal strife happening on Trump's campaign, this is not uncommon. There are whole HBO movies dedicated to campaign drama. That being said, as you said, Judge, Donald Trump has had a really rough few weeks. It shows in the poll numbers, which he himself lives or dies by. And I think he had to make a change to show that he's taking himself as a general candidate seriously. We're 1 week away from the convention, 2 weeks away from the convention, and I think he has to show that he is taking this seriously. And Corey Lewandowski, no campaign experience before this. I know he's anti-establishment, but to win in a general election, you have to have people that have run campaigns before. A man, Keith Nahagian, is just hired on the Trump campaign, a veteran of many campaigns, including 2 of my father's. Things like that ease my concerns right now. People like me like veterans of politics. We're going up against Hillary Clinton, who has an absolute juggernaut of a campaign, and we need people who, quite frankly, aren't just, you know, controversial campaign managers who are best known for manhandling reporters.
I wonder if the timing is influential here. I mean, Hillary Clinton is about to be able to spend $1 billion. She's got 875 employees. We don't know what Donald has. He has fewer than 100 employees. The convention is 2 or 3 weeks away. He's been the presumptive nominee now for 7 weeks. I don't know why this happened now, unless, as John Roberts explained, it's been a Game of Thrones gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. This ding-dong, the witch is dead, sounds like a gag, but it's very important. Corey Lewandowski, according to Charlie Gasparino, who may have seen the document, I haven't, signed an ironclad non-disparagement agreement. He cannot, unless he violates the agreement, criticize Donald Trump, unless the Trump people criticize him first.
Ah, that's interesting.
I
So
wonder
who knows
if that
what's
counts as a violation.
Well, it's this fellow that did the
Michael
ding dong,
Caputo.
the witch is dead. I feel ridiculous saying this. It's the guy who said this in the campaign.
He's a close advisor to Donald Trump.
Because let's face it, that in this goodbye from the Trump campaign, at the end of it, they thanked Corey Lewandowski for all of his contributions and success of the campaign.
But I mean, Donald Trump has always supported him, even when he was having problems with that reporter and Michelle Fields and all that went on with Lewandowski. I mean, Donald Trump said, "No way am I going to get rid of this guy. I believe in him." So I mean, I think that's part of the softening of the language too. I mean, they're friends. They've been together since the beginning. I would say this about the $43 million that Hillary Clinton is now spending in battleground states and anti-Trump ads.
In 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, that is an onslaught that you have to answer to. Who got you to the dance? Manafort. Lewandowski was there, as I said from the beginning, but when you needed 1,237 delegates to come on board, who got you there? It was Manafort. When you needed to start having some meetings on Capitol Hill for those who supported you and those who didn't, for those on the fence, which I would say House Speaker Paul Ryan is still on the fence. My gosh, what's the view like from up there? Who got you there? It was Paul Manafort. So it's understandable how he could come out, you know, notwithstanding whatever his kids may have said about it. The question is now, can they call the cash to go forward? You have guys like Anthony Scaramucci, who we know here at Fox.
I got to say one last thing. So the Donald accepted Manafort's advice to fire Corey. Will the Donald accept Manafort's advice on other things, like how to say things to the public and the press and to Mrs. Clinton?
Yes, if Paul Manafort can make the case that this is how you win, this is the only way you win, then he has no choice but to listen to her.